Good afternoon. My name is Chris Adlam with Youth Pleasure Employers, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jasmine, the company secretary at Armscare. Hello, Jasmine.
Hi there.
Thanks for giving up your time this afternoon. I know we're going to have a little chat about the business and what you do, and then we're going to be joined by one of your lovely apprentices later on. But I guess my first question really has to be, can you tell us a bit about the organisation and what you do?
So here at Armscare, we have 5 care homes for the elderly based in Northwest Norfolk. They specialise in dementia care and other complex needs, so that we are able to look after all types of residents and ensure that they are well looked after. There are so many different roles available within Armscare. They span from care itself, being the role of a carer or a senior, as well as other business support roles, HR, maintenance, assistance with domestic help, and also with cooking and being a chef.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. I know it's never easy to concisely say what your organisation sort of does. So thanks for trimming that down to a brief answer. And you've even answered my sort of next question, really, which was about some of the different roles that are involved within the organisation. Can you tell me a little bit about, maybe go into a little bit more detail about some of those roles and maybe some of the skills that people need in those roles, whether they be soft skills, personality traits, or experiences?
Yes. So, I mean, we summed it up perfectly. There are so many roles within care, especially within a care home itself. I think one of the most important roles and that you need to sort of have is being able to be personable with the people that you work with, getting along well with not only the staff and the residents, but also having that compassion and also empathy, trying to understand how our residents relate to different issues and how they relate to the staff themselves. In any role that we operate, we ensure that we give care, and that's at the very heart of what we do. So be that in a business role, you ensure that you are still able to communicate well and effectively with our residents. And that is how we show good care, and it always stems from the top. I think one of the other key points is the willingness to try new things. I myself have stepped into so many different roles within what we do. I've done night shifts, day shifts, I've done cooking, I've assisted the domestic team while also completing my business role. So I do everything. And obviously you'll hear from Rosie as well, our apprentice, that has also done everything. So it's just that willingness to try and be very and diversify in terms of your skills and what you want to do.
That's brilliant, and it's really warming to hear as an organisation. As I say, you prioritise people with empathy and good personal skills, and as you say, wanting people who want to try all those different things, which is almost going to go against the next question I'm going to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. And I'll say in advance of this, I know there is no such thing as a typical day. We've made that very clear. I think in advance of this, roles within this organisation, that it's not there. But if you had to sort of talk about the kind of things that sort of do happen frequently during the day of one of the members of staff, what would that be? And the other part of that question is, what do the good days look like, and what do the challenging days look like?
Wow, that's a very difficult question.
Sorry.
As you said, we every day that we have in care is very different, and some are good and some are bad, like with any other job. I think the good days are when everybody wakes up, has a wonderful morning, has their breakfast, has their meds, and no emergencies, no disasters, like for example the cooker breaking or anything like that, or no floods, or or when everybody turns up to work. Those are the things that sort of help with a good day. But that being said, like with any household, anything can always go wrong at any minute. So there are so many different challenges that we could face, and a challenging day could be, for example, somebody doesn't feel quite settled today, they're a little bit confused, or maybe later in the afternoon a resident suffers from the effects of sundowning, for example. But I think even on the most challenging days, I think one thing that's really important for care homes like ours is working well as a team. You'll always have the support of your colleagues, be that those on the care floor and those even those that are helping in the kitchen or in other roles. You can always call somebody in to assist and work well together. There is no such day as a perfect day in care, just because they are so different, but we do take the wins where we get them, and even with the challenges, we still ensure that we have a good day. We still ensure that the residents have fun. Even on our hardest days, we've had residents and staff join in a conga line into the dining room for dinner just to get that fun started again. So we will always try and make sure that everyone's having a good time.
That's fantastic and heartwarming to hear. And it's going to be difficult for me to get that sight of the conga line out of my head, but it's a lovely one. It's a warming one. That's brilliant. And just one final question, really, for you before we have a chat with Rosie, which is sort of, as I say, you've summarised sort of, some of the skills and traits that someone would need, to work in this industry and to work for an organisation such as Armscare. If you had a young person and you were looking at their CV of a young person who was interested in getting to this kind of field, what kind of things would you like to put on there, or would you like to see that would make you think actually you've got definitely some of the traits that would mean you'd hit the ground running in a role like that?
Oh, good question.
And that's why I'm here.
So, I mean, look, if anybody has care experience, that's always it's always very promising. They know what they're doing. They know what it's like in a care home. However, for those in younger role, in the younger generation or just starting out in their careers, we know that getting access to care homes is quite difficult. So you've got to show something else that you can do. I mean, maybe you've embarked on other courses. Maybe you've had a look into the care certificate. There's a lot of funding available, especially within Norfolk, for level 2s that you might want to put yourself onto. And they cover a wide range of courses. So it could be dementia, it could be mental health. So express an interest in that, and perhaps do your research into the role as well. Understand how we're regulated within social care, understand a little bit about CQC, have a look on the local authority website for things about social care. And even have a look at Skills for Care, for example, because there's a lot of examples on there that can help you. Even if you haven't got that experience within care, these are ways that you can build around it. And it's also good to have some form of experience, even in other industries. Show that you're potentially a team player, you've worked with people in the past, and showcase your customer service skills, anything like that. I think generally within care, we're quite open to all sorts of people joining us, even if they don't have a care background. We might just suggest that you come in for a day of work experience, see what the home is like, meet the staff, see what it's like being in the home, and whether it's something you would enjoy, whether it's something you would like to do. We have offered this out in the past, and you can see how the home works. For those that are looking at night shifts, we might say, well, come in on a day shift and then shadow a night shift as well, so that you get a full feel of the home and you know exactly what you're in for. And then, always, if you're interested in a particular company or a particular role, maybe just give them a call, find out what they're looking for. See if they are looking for people that have specific skills or any qualifications or anything like that. But just try and take that first step within it, and all the best.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Jasmine. And speaking of people who've taken their first steps, I'm going to ask you to swap over with Rosie now, if I may, and we'll have a little chat with Rosie.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Hi there, Rosie.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm not too bad. Yourself?
I'm good, thanks.
Fantastic. So Jasmine spoke a little bit there about first steps. So can you give me a little bit of a summary of what your apprenticeship involves and how you found it so far?
Yeah, so I am currently enrolled on a level 3 business admin apprenticeship. And so far, I have found it amazing. I'm very passionate about my apprenticeship. It's a juggle between studying and working. And I believe the most the biggest opportunity is that you're able to earn whilst you learn, and at the end of it you get an amazing qualification.
That's brilliant, and it's great to hear how passionate you are about it. If you've discovered anything that maybe you didn't expect to discover about yourself while you've been doing your apprenticeship, what is it?
So I've always looked at myself as hardworking, but this apprenticeship and working with Armscare, it really has made me develop more about my potential of, I work hard, but I can work harder. So when it's a good week and I'm juggling everything and everything's going well, I'm like, wow, I can do so much. There's so much more I can do. So yeah, the apprenticeship has really helped me learn more about myself.
And I know it's probably going to be a similar answer to what Jasmine gave, but what is a typical day for you like?
So a typical day, so as I mentioned, it does involve studying and working. My role is also a business support officer. So I sort of work with, so Jasmine is my main manager, but I also have the opportunity to interact with the other directors, as well as different candidates and staff members. So every day is busy, especially as I'm coming to the end of my apprenticeship now. The first thing I try to do is check my emails, finish any important tasks off. Jasmine has been amazing at supporting me if I do have any questions. We always have conversations about how it's going. It's a great support system. So a typical day is busy, but it's nice, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's nice to be busy. I can completely appreciate that. And my final question before I get you both on the screen would be, if there was someone who's maybe considering an apprenticeship, it can be maybe an apprenticeship within this field, an apprenticeship in general, bearing in mind that you've sort of been there, you've decided, oh, that's what I want to do. What advice would you give to them based on your own experiences? If they were unsure about doing it or not.
I might be biased because I love my apprenticeship. I would suggest that they think about it because it is a big step, especially because of the juggling with studying. If they want to do the studying as well, you need to be motivated, you need to be committed. Ideally, a topic that you want to study. So I would, yeah, if they want to do it, go for it.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite Jasmine to. No, it's brilliant advice. I'm going to invite Jasmine to join us back on the screen as I make myself disappear, so I can make sure you two are the pure centre of attention as I ask you my final question. And I know, as I say, Rosie, you're sort of at the start of your sort of career journey, but as you've said, you've already grown and learnt things. So the question I'm going to put to both of you is that if you could go back and give some career advice to your younger selves, okay, bearing in mind the things you've learnt, maybe the successes you've had, mistakes you've made, what would those pieces of advice be? And I'm going to go to you first, Jasmine.
Oh, okay. I think so. When I started off my career, I was exceptionally nervous in what I was doing, and I just worried about everything. So I would just say that, it's really common when you start out in your career that you don't know what the working world is going to be like. You don't completely understand what your job role may be. But as long as you are open to learning, open to asking questions, and open to improving yourself and recognizing that you can make that step up, and you can constantly improve, then I think you'll be absolutely fine. I learned in my career very early on that if I didn't understand something, ask and as many times as you possibly can until it makes sense to you, and that's how you continually improve yourself. So that would be my advice.
Fantastic. And the same question to you, Rosie.
Jasmine has sort of said it for me as well. Always ask if you're unsure about something, if you are unaware of all the options available. There's always somebody you can find to help you. Look at all of the details beforehand before you make such a big decision. And yeah, don't worry too much. You'll be on the right path. Everything will eventually work out how it's supposed to. So relax, have fun, work hard, and like what Jasmine said, you'll do amazing.